Greetings and welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I'm so glad that you could keep our appointment. Now, tonight's guest is no stranger to Office Hours with Dr. G. You've heard him before, at least two, maybe three other occasions. But tonight, he's being joined by the group that he's working with, the Consular group in the Maryland Republic. I am talking about Brother Lamont Maurice L., who will present This Is How You Do It, which will be a review of what occurred during a consular jurisdiction and treaty enforcement effort that they recently were involved in at the Maryland State Republic. Now, if you don't have pen and paper, I urge you to get something to write with or record what you're going to hear, because the information that they are going to share tonight is going to be very, very vital for many of you Moors who are looking for remedy for the situation that they're going to describe. Without further ado, I want to welcome back to Office Hours with Dr. G, Brother Lamont Maurice L., and Brother Adair. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, that's me.
How are you?
We are great.
Well, I didn't cover you up, with the little banner. I just realized as I was talking that you were there. We were there all the time. They could see us, but hey, those are the things that happen sometimes. But thank you so much for coming back on the show tonight. I'm excited. There's not a lot of talking. I'm going to do most of my talking right here, right now, in this intro, as we're waiting for my theme music to play out. And I'm pretty much going to let you all in your group. I know you're waiting for some others to arrive, but I know the two of you can get us started with what is, what has happened, and the stare decisis case that you have. It's always wonderful when we have precedent that we can say, I don't know, I don't think it works, I know it works. So welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G, and you're, like I said, no stranger. I think this is your third time, or is it your fourth? I'm not sure.
This is one of the senior now.
You're graduating. You're graduating.
He's working on his undergrads and beyond, so.
Yeah, this is the fourth.
Okay, fourth time. I wasn't sure. Well, it is my really, I'm happy to have you here. I'm happy that this platform is available, because when things like what you're going to share with the audience occur, it is good to be timely. I mean, we couldn't do it on the day of, but we're within a week of this, and so this is hot off the press. As far as I know, and it hasn't been widely advertised anywhere else. I thank you for the exclusive.
Thanks for the opportunity. Thanks for the opportunity. Thank you for your platform again. Respectfully to acknowledge. I know that there's a lot of work and investment in time and energy and strength and all of that you put into giving us an opportunity to present some truths that may sometimes be kept under a rock or hid under a basket if you don't really push for the recognition of it. So you being a mother to us all, thank you for creating a platform in which we all can be able to come in respectfully to the purpose of why you even created it. And hopefully we can be able to get some remedy done for the rest of our people. Thank you again.
Islam. And yes, you do have the exclusive, hot off the press.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
This will be considered like the press release, before the press conference.
Absolutely. Appreciate that. Okay. So listen, like I said, because I want to hear, I've heard, but I want to hear it in greater detail, just like, the audience would like to know what happened and how does it apply to them, and what they're trying to do. So, take it away. I may put you up on a solo, so everyone, especially when everybody gets there, I'm gonna make sure everybody sees you. I'll pop in and out. I'm not gonna leave. I mean, I'm here, but I don't have to be, right on the screen. So I'm gonna see if I can. Let me see what happens when I bring you up like this. Okay, there you are.
Oh, we good. Okay.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So, you want to know what happened?
Absolutely.
All right.
Look, inquiring minds want to know. Wait a minute. Right. Before there looks like about 100, a little over 100 people on the live. So what I need them to do is to give us a thumbs up, like, and share. We need to have 1,000 at least on this. This is something that needs to go far and wide. So while you're, getting your pieces, your paper and your pen so that you can take notes or whatever you're going to take notes with, also like and share. I know you're probably already a subscriber, if not subscribe, but like and share. Do like and share. Let somebody know that this information is hot off the press. There's a lot of Moors who are affected by what they're going to share. And once there's, a precedent has been set, stare decisis, what it's called, then this is something that all of those of us going forward will be able to use, to validate, if I'm using the right word, our cases if they come up like that. So while you're liking and sharing, Brother Lamont, Brother Derek, you have the floor.
Islam. Peace, everyone. So back in February, right now I'm looking at the certified copy of the two writs that was issued from our Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic jurisdiction. So one being a order of default and two being a writ of quo warranto certified by District Court of Maryland for Charles County. Of course, that's not a court. That is a private foreign de facto corporation. Nevertheless, they certified. I don't know if you all can see it. They certified the two documents, and our venue, of course, certified the two writs that we issued here. And for everyone, it is available for public display as well as public scrutiny on enforcetheconstitution.org. When you go there, you'll click on Consular Court Cases. And when you click on Consular Court Cases, you'll scroll down to where you see habeas corpus cases. You'll click on that web page and you will see, well, matter of fact, can we do screen share? And click this right here, I think. Share screen. Entire screen window. Is my screen sharing? Hold on. Dr. G, is my screen sharing?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You have to click screen share.
Yeah, I did. And now it says choose what to share. Entire screen. Yeah, but it's not giving me the option.
I don't see your
Hold on. Okay. Share.
I don't want to share mine.
It says share screen.
I just okay, try it again.
Yeah, it's not giving me the option to click on share.
Let me see. Is that your screen right there that's up, or that must be yours? Pick what you want. Thank you.
Oh, I gotta click it. My apologies.
All right, now.
All right.
Okay.
So now, what you see on the screen is the website enforcetheconstitution.org.
I'm trying to bring you out, but let me see. Have a
little on the screen.
I see it, but it's not letting me. I tend to cancel. Here we go. Add to stream. There it is.
There we go. Thank you, Dr. G. So you'll click on Enforce the Constitution. We'll go to enforcetheconstitution.org. You click on Consular Court Cases here. And when you click on Consular Court Cases, this is what will pop up. And you can choose the habeas corpus cases link. This will pop up. You can also reach this link when you click on the Dropbox More and scroll down to where you see habeas corpus cases. When you scroll down on this webpage, you'll see Morocco Consular Court at Maryland. Then you'll see pictures from June 17th. And what you're looking for ultimately is the PDFs. The first PDF that you will see is titled Certified Writ of Quo Warranto. And it's here. And it's free, of course. You can download it. It's a PDF. Also, the Certified Order of Default. And like I said, it was certified by Morocco Consular Court, our court, as well as their foreign corporate venue. Now, what the cause was for the issuance of these two writs was, you scroll down below that, you'll see the Sharice return, and you will see the writ of habeas corpus that was certified by Morocco Consular Court and issued by Morocco Consular Court and recorded in the records of the District Court for Charles County. So that's a PDF too. And then if you scroll lower, then you'll see Circuit Court for Montgomery County. That's the case dealing with another issue. So it started with, let's see, this writ of habeas corpus. And
can I interject for the benefit of those who may not know what habeas corpus means? Could you start by explaining that?
Yes. So the brother Dill, he's going to get the habeas corpus definition so that I can read it in the Black's Law 4th edition. But habeas corpus means that you have the body. Writ of habeas corpus means an order that you have the body, and then ad subjudienda means to be produced from subjugation. So writ of habeas corpus ad subjudiendum simply means an order to produce the body from subjugation. So in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, on page 837, habeas corpus, Latin, you have the body, the name given to a variety of writs, of which these were anciently the emphatic words, having for their object to bring a party before a court or judge. In common usage, and whenever these words are used alone, they are understood to mean the habeas corpus ad subjudiendum. The sole function of the writ is to release from unlawful imprisonment. So on that same page, you go to the term habeas corpus ad subjudiendum. It reads, a writ directed to the person detaining another and commanding him to produce the body of the prisoner or person detained with the day and cause of his caption and detention. Then it says ad faciendum subjudiendum et recipiendum. That means to do, submit to, and receive whatsoever the judge or court awarding the writ shall consider in that behalf. So, and also let me finish the definition. This is the well-known remedy for the deliverance from illegal confinement, called by Sir Williams Blackstone the most celebrated writ in the English law, and the great and efficacious, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. It's the efficacious writ in all manner of illegal confinement. The great writ of liberty, issuing at common law out of courts of chancery, king's bench, common pleas, and executure. So habeas corpus is used, the office of habeas corpus is used for the sole purpose, as said in the definition, to release from unlawful imprisonment. So the habeas corpus was issued for our brother, Moorish American national Jafar Abdul Adel, who was being detained at the prison of war camp known as Charles County Detention Center. That detainment has been since, and I'm going to the records, give me 1 second, since February 14th, 2021. Now, when we issued the writ of habeas corpus, of course, it was recorded in the records of Charles County District Court. We got a copy, a true test copy of it, which you all will see here on the website. And the true test copy, of course, you know, when they true test something or when they certify something, that means they've given it full faith and credit because they made it a part of their records, even though they're not a court. So it can be enforced at their jurisdiction. So Brother Adele, who's our vice consul, and I, who I'm the consul general, not of Maryland, the consul general of Morocco, by vote, served the writ of habeas corpus ad suggestionem upon an agent for Sheriff Troy D. Berry, who's acting as the sheriff for, not Montgomery County, sheriff for Charles County, Maryland. And also the foreign hybrid European colonist male, Brandon Foster, who's acting as the director for Charles County Detention Center. As you can see, according to this sheriff's return, it was returned by our acting sheriff, Adil Zakat Saeed Bey, who's sitting on my right. And it's shown that it was served 4:36 p.m. on March 10th, 2021. And it was accepted by someone going by Master Sergeant Bernier. Now, at that point, they have 72 hours to either release our national or to respond and answer the writ of habeas corpus ad suggestionem. They did not do that. They did neither one. As a matter of fact, I personally called the detention center and I spoke with an acting lieutenant, and he said that they're not releasing him because he's being held under the order of who they call Judge Hennessy. And of course, you know, they're not our judges. They're not judges at all, unless we call them that. So when I was given that information, I knew that, you know, it's time to turn up pretty much the activities that we had to do to in order to peaceably resolve this issue, but at the same time enforce the treaty obligations that they all have. So we began to train and we began to study so that we could show ourselves approved, so that we can properly plan and not have a poor performance. And on, what date was this? Give me 1 second. On June 14th, 2021. So what is that? For March, April, that's 1 month, May, June. 3 months. Took us 3 months and maybe some days to train and study so that we could positively and effectively enforce the writ of habeas corpus ad suggestionem for his release. So what our Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic did was we issued an order of default due to Sheriff Troy D. Berry and what's the other one's name? Director Brandon Foster failing to execute their duty. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the order of default. And that can be found, like I said, right here on the website, Certified Order of Default. I'm going to read the memorandum. On February 14, 2021, near corporate La Plata, Maryland Republic, our Moorish American national, Jafar Abdul Adel L, was exercising his right to travel and was kidnapped, held hostage for profit, and denationalized under color of law, that is to say, traffic law, on the information of the fictitious corporate name, nom de guerre, inscribed in all caps. That is to say, Jafar Abdul Adel L. Yes, they took his free national name and put it in all caps. That still does not make that you, right? Still a nom de guerre. Race, black, via the black code, as a stateless person within purview of the plausible 14th Amendment, under the custody of W. Lewis Hennessy, a foreign hybrid European colonist male. Patrick H. Lovelace, a foreign hybrid European colonist male. Troy D. Berry, a 14th Amendment U.S. corporate stateless person male. Brandon Foster, a foreign hybrid European colonist male. And Anthony B. Covington, a 14th Amendment U.S. corporate stateless person male, hereinafter defendants, absent of a lawful Fourth Amendment arrest warrant and without due process of law. The incident was witnessed by Brenda Leonard Rufus L., the mother of Jafar Abdul Adel L. She was on the scene and I was on the phone at that time, February 14, 2021. Then we mentioned Kent versus Dulles. We also mentioned the case law McNally versus United States, quoting United States versus Holster. You can read those on the document on the website. For the sake of time, I'm not going to read those case laws. On March 5th, 2021, this Morocco Consular Court issued a writ of habeas corpus as justicienda for the immediate release of Jafar Abdul Adel L. from the custody of the defendants based upon the facts shown in the Affidavit of Evidence and Information, Exhibit A, and Attachment Exhibit A1, presented to this consular court on March 5th, 2021, by our Sharif, Eric Khalil Bey, and witness Brenda Leonard Rufus L. The writ of habeas corpus was issued under consular jurisdiction upon the treaty rights of Jafar Abdul Adel L, which includes his treaty right to be immediately released from being made prize, hostage, by any of the citizens of America, and his treaty right to consular jurisdiction, which are guaranteed to be secured under Articles 6 and 20 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, and under Article 6, Clause 2 of the Constitution for the United States of North America, which we all know as the Supremacy Clause. And it says, see Colivrat versus Oregon. This is a very important case law for everyone to understand and to study, because it applies to all Moorish American nationals who are foreign to the United States jurisdiction, which is corporate and de facto and notwithstanding. So for the purposes of consular notification requirements, as it is stated and asserted in the United States Department of State Consular Notification and Access Manual, 2018, 5th edition, anyone who is not a U.S. citizen is a foreign national. It also says there are rare situations in which a person is neither a foreign national or a U.S. citizen. That is to say, is stateless. Consular notification requirements do not apply to stateless persons. That's what it says in their foreign policy manual for consular notification and access. Stateless persons include persons branded Negro, Black, Colored, Indian, Hispanic, Latino, etc. Right? African American.
As well.
Right, yeah, African American as well. But that's not a nationality. 2 continents. So those brand names that are in association with the Black Code are actually classifications. They're classifying people as undesirables, all right? Undesirable is a stateless person. A stateless person is a person without a nationality or a nation. Nationality and citizenship is synonymous. Those words are synonymous with each other. So you can take nationality out and put the word citizenship. Means the same thing. However, there's different levels, or shall I say different classes of citizenship. Just because you call yourself a citizen doesn't make you a citizen of either the United States or a citizen of America, or even a citizen of the Moroccan Empire, which would also be known as national of the land. You have to identify the pedigree, because citizenship comes by way of jus sanguinis. So if your citizenship is Moorish American or Moorish American national, which is the same thing, then you are considered by representatives and de facto officers of the United States corporation platform jurisdiction. You're considered as a foreign national, because foreign deals with jurisdiction. Foreign does not deal with the land. Foreign does not deal with location. It deals with citizenship. It deals with jurisdiction. All right. So you are a foreign national in relation to the United States, right? So the case Colavat versus Oregon, Supreme Court case law, 366 U.S. 187 194 81 SCT 922 1961 was the year. Reads, a state cannot refuse to give foreign nationals their treaty rights because of fear that valid international agreements may possibly not work completely to the satisfaction of state authorities. Under the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution, Article 6, Clause 2, state policies as to the rights of aliens to inherit must give way to overriding federal treaties and conflicting arrangements. Conflicting arrangements. This writ of habeas corpus is a conflicting arrangement to the state policies of Charles County District Court and the state of Maryland Incorporated. Both of them are incorporated, right? That conflicts. However, state policies are overridden with federal treaties and conflicting arrangements. So moving forward, on or about March 10th, 2021, the defendants were served at their present addresses, either personally or through their agent, with the writ of habeas corpus at subjudiendum and the affidavit of evidence and information in support of the writ of habeas corpus at subjudiendum, with attachment Exhibit A1. There has been no cause to the contrary made thereto by the defendants. As of this date, the defendants have failed to execute their obligation in the writ of habeas corpus ad subjudiendum, which constitutes default and breach of duty. While being kidnapped and held hostage for profit at the foreign Charles County Detention Center, Inc., our Moorish American national, Jabbar Abdul Al has been subjected to inhumane treatment, which includes being denationalized, being held to the conditions of slavery, connotatively speaking, and involuntary servitude, being compelled to eat genetically modified organisms, GMOs, and drink contaminated water in order to stay alive, and being denied phone access to his relatives, loved ones, and consulate, per consular notification requirements. As a result, the defendants are in violation of Articles 6, 20, and 21 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire. I also wanted to add article, I believe it was 16, where it says the prisoners should not be made as slaves. Article 16 of the treaty, that is. And Article 3, Section 2, and Article 6, Clause 2, and Amendments 1, 4, 5, and the Organic 13th Amendment, Section 12 of the Constitution for the United States of North America. And this is the order. Wherefore, it is therefore considered ordered and adjudged that an order of default be, and the same is hereby entered against the defendants. It is further ordered and adjudged that the defendants are in breach of their duty by failing to execute their treaty obligations under Articles 6 and 20 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, and the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution for the United States of North America under Article 6, Clause 2, and have therefore forfeited any and all offices, oaths of office, and surety bonds in relation to any alleged public service and or office of trust claimed by the defendants under color, tongue twister, under color of any law. It is further ordered and adjudged that in accordance with Articles 20 and 24 of the aforesaid Treaty of 1836, which we will go over, a writ of quo warranto shall be issued under consular jurisdiction by this Morocco Consular Court and against the defendants to inquire by what authority under the Constitution for the United States of North America are the defendants exercising the judicial power and jurisdiction of the Republican form of government, because there's only one form of government on this land, not democracy. And by what alleged lawful arrest warrant and probable cause, accusation signed under oath or affirmation in support thereof are the defendants holding our Moorish American national Javar Abdul Adel El under their custody. It is further ordered and adjudged that there shall be no cause for the delay in the enforcement of the writ of quo warranto by the officers and representatives of this Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic upon the defendants. It is further ordered and adjudged that the colorable administrative hearing set for June 17, 2021 in docket numbers 7T60J7R, 7T50J7R, 7T70J7R, and 7T80J7R, which were all the citations, because it was dealing with traffic, in the records of the Foreign District Court for Charles County, Inc., and any attachments associated thereto are null and void ab initio and are unenforceable for lack of jurisdiction and fraud until the writ of quo warranto is answered by the defendants and jurisdiction is proved to exist. Done and ordered at Maghrib Al-Aqsa, northwest of Mexham, which we all are right now, physically, right here on this land, North America. So what I want to do now is go to Article 24 of the treaty so that we can understand what is to be done when any of these articles in this treaty are violated. All right. So Article 24 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, and this is 1787 and 1836, because this article was not changed in the 1836 treaty. It reads, if any differences shall arise by either party infringing on any of the articles of this treaty, peace and harmony shall remain notwithstanding in the fullest force until a friendly application shall be made for an arrangement. Remember, Colavrat versus Oregon. Conflicting arrangements override their state policy. Then it says, and until that application shall be rejected, no appeal shall be made to arms. Yes, we have a right to keep and bear arms, but we are also promoting peace, right? So yes, you keep and you bear your arm, but when it's time for war, go to war. But when it's time for peace, there should be a friendly arrangement, right? So set up a friendly arrangement. And that starts with knowing the meanings of these words and also knowing the processes, right? It reads, continuing, and if a war shall break out between the parties, 9 months shall be granted to all the subjects of both parties to dispose of their effects and retire with their property. And it is further declared that whatever indulgence in the trade or otherwise shall be granted to any of the Christian powers, the citizens of the United States shall be equally entitled to them. All right, going back. So the order of default was basically issued due to their failure to perform their duty, right? Which is the execution of the writ of habeas corpus ad subjudiendum. Thus and therefore, they forfeited their alleged office that they're claiming to have, their alleged oath of office that they did sign, because we got copies of it, and their surety bonds. They forfeited it because they are acting outside of the scope of their alleged authority, right? Okay, so this order of default also authorized the issuance of writ of quo warranto. So the writ of quo warranto simply means by what authority or by what warrant. All right, writ of quo warranto. Let's go to the definition because we want to be clear on what we're saying when we speak about the documents that we've issued. 1 second. All right, quo warranto. Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, page 1417. It reads, well, I'll read the relevant part. Quo warranto, relevant to what we're talking about. It is intended to prevent exercise of powers that are not conferred by law and is not ordinarily available to regulate the manner of exercising such power. So, and also, quo warranto is an extraordinary proceeding, prerogative in nature, addressed to preventing a continued exercise of authority unlawfully asserted. So we should all know this. The judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as the Congress may from time to time ordain and establish. That is quoted from under Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution. Article 3, Section 2 deals with the judicial powers being extended to cases in law and equity arising under the Constitution, laws of the United States, and treaties made or which shall be made, right? So if any individual in society is claiming or asserting or exercising judicial power, which is the power to interpret and apply the law, then they have to prove by what authority are they to exercise that sovereign power of we the people, because that power belongs to us. And if they cannot prove that they have the judicial power or they were delegated that judicial authorization to exercise the judicial power via Congress under Article 3, Section 1 and 2 of the Constitution for the United States of North America, then that power is reserved to the people. Per the 10th Amendment. Read it. What is it? Power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it, that is the Constitution, to the states are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. That's called a Republican form of government. We all need to take the time to write this down. Government, write down the term government. When you go to the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition or 5th edition, you'll look up the term government. Under government, look for Republican government, and you will see that Republican government is where the powers of the people are exercised either by the people directly or through representatives chosen by the people to whom those powers are specially delegated. So if they're not specially delegated to these so-called representatives, because we can't have anyone represent us, you can only represent something that's inanimate. We're animate. We're physical, tangible beings. Physical, tangible things or beings cannot be, not things, excuse me. Beings cannot be represented because they're present already. I think Taj already mentioned that in his last class, Taj Tariq Bey. So you can't be represented, all right? But if the power is exercised by someone in the community that was not delegated to them, then the power is reserved to us, and we exercise that power directly. And that was done in the Writ of Quo Warranto, the order of default, as well as the writ of habeas corpus ad justicienda. So, Writ of Quo Warranto, it reads, Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic, northwest of Mexham, to wit, 2. W. Lewis Hennessy, acting as Associate Administrative Clerk, Patrick A. Lovelace, acting as Administrative Clerk, and District Court for Charles County, Inc., and it gives the mailing location. Troy D. Berry, acting as Sheriff for Charles County, and it gives the mailing location for him, Charles County Sheriff's Office, Inc. Brandon Foster, Foreign Occidental European Mail, acting as Director, and then it's Charles County Detention Center, Inc., and the address. And last, Anthony B. Covington, acting as State's Attorney, Office of the State's Attorney, and his address. Regarding kidnapping and hostage holding of Moorish American national Javad Abdul Adel L. In accordance with the authority under Articles 20 and 24 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, and the Supremacy Clause of the Constitution for the United States of North America, under Article 6, Clause 2, you are hereby commanded to produce the following to the officers and representatives of this Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic as proof and evidence of your lawful jurisdiction and judicial authorization. So there were 5 items that were supposed to be produced, right? And under the answer, you can go on the website to review those 5 items. For the sake of time, we're going to move forward. This writ of quo warranto shall be answered upon your receipt and no later than June 17th, 2021. And the above evidence and information shall be produced to our officers and representatives of this Morocco Consular Court upon their arrival at the Foreign District Court for Charles County. The law, flags, and jurisdiction of our officers and representatives, including convoy, shall be recognized and honored by you and your agents and assigns in accordance with Article 4 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship of 1836 between the United States of North America and the Moroccan Empire, which aver the following. Article 4, and I'll read it. It's important. A signal, which is either a display of lights or flags, right? This is not a flag, so it's not a signal, it's a banner. A signal or pass, a pass is permission, also called license, shall be given to all vessels belonging to both parties by which they are to be known when they meet at sea, right? Holy sea, also admiralty, maritime jurisdiction. Isn't that where they meeting us? Yes, it is. And if the commander of a ship of war of either party shall have other ships under his convoy, the declaration of the commander shall alone be sufficient to exempt any of them from examination. The collusive action, and look up that term in the Black's Law Dictionary, collusive action, because that's what all of these state ofs versus the name in all caps, that's what they are. They're collusive actions. They are not actions, they are not cases, they're not controversies, and they damn sure ain't disputes. The collusive action and colorable administrative proceedings in docket numbers, and the same docket numbers that I read before, are not valid until jurisdiction is proved to exist. Otherwise, docket numbers, the listed docket numbers, and any attachments associated thereto must be dismissed with prejudice for lack of jurisdiction and fraud. See Mello versus United States. I'm sure a lot of you all are familiar with that case law. If you're not, it's on the Writ of Quo Warranto. Default. This is the default section. Failure to answer and produce the above evidence constitutes default and serves as your admission by silence to our Moorish American national, Javad Abdul Adel L, being kidnapped and held hostage for profit in unlawful imprisonment while being denationalized and deprived of his liberty by your color of authority under color of law, and the misrepresented instrument, bill of attainder, form, bills of exchange, docket numbers, listed docket numbers, and any attachments associated thereto, including the colorable administrative hearing set for June 17, 2021, are invalid, unconstitutional, notwithstanding, void ab initio, and unenforceable. See Elliott versus Pearsall, and also see United States versus Throckmorton. This is the arrangement section. Arrangement. Upon your default, you shall forthwith execute the writ of habeas corpus ad seditiendum and release our Moorish American national Javad Abdul Adel El without condition or delay, done and ordered at Maghrib al-Aqsa, northwest of Mecca. All right? So, the writ of quo warranto and the order of default was issued Monday. What was that? June 14th. And they were recorded in Morocco, the records of Morocco Consular Court, Monday, June 14th. And then also recorded in the records of the District Court for Charles County on Monday, June 14th. So at that point, they had from 72 hours from Tuesday to what's that? Thursday, right? It was Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Well, no, they're not 72 hours. They had until June 17th. Absolutely. Yeah. So we came together. What is it called? Let's go to court. Let's go to court. We're going to court. The term court in the Black's Law Dictionary, 4th edition, can be found on page 425, and I have it here on the screen. Wait, are we still doing screen share? Okay, yep. Court, page 425. You'll go to court right here, and you'll go to international law, because we're talking consular jurisdiction. It reads, the person in suit of the sovereign, the place where the sovereign sojourns with his regal retinue. That means royal following, wherever that may be. So, the court or consular court sojourned in the parking lot of the District Court for Charles County, Maryland. And the court went into the venue called Charles County District Court, same venue. And there the court was, because the court is the people, the sovereign people that are exercising the sovereign powers of the people. So that means those people, those sovereign people, are in office by delegation of authority or by appointment, right? So we made we established the court. I contacted the bailiff to let him know of our intentions. And I believe that he communicated that with the acting administrative clerk, W. Lewis Hennessy.
Head bailiff.
Yeah, the head bailiff, or the supervisor bailiff.
Yes.
And I don't really want to put him out there like that because he was a good guy.
Yes.
Nevertheless, consular jurisdiction was enforced. We were present. We exercised consular jurisdiction over our Moorish American national, Javad Abdul Adel El, from behind the bar. What ultimately happened was they brought Javar out. They asked Javar, what did he want to do? Did he want to take a plea? He said no. He said, do you want to put the case on the stat docket? He said no. And the administrative clerk asked if you knew what a stat docket was. He said, yeah, but I'm not interested. And he said, all right. He signed some paper, flipped it, signed some paper, flipped it, signed some paper, then closed it and said, all right. Calling the next case, such and such versus such and such. And then they came to get Javar up out of the seat. And as he was exiting the courtroom, we were already standing. I asserted excuse me. And then I yelled out, attention of the court. I said that twice. I was talking about Morocco Consular Court. So I called the court, the attention of our court. Then I addressed W. Lewis Hennessy. I asked him and his venue, are you all refusing to allow our consul, our national, his treaty right to consular jurisdiction? The administrative clerk asked if I was, he said, who's talking? I said, me, I'm talking, me. And of course, he remembered my face because this is the same individual that I went before when I was kidnapped back in 2013 for the Charles County case where I was kidnapped and held in unlawful imprisonment for 5 years. These are the same individuals. So you cannot imagine the feeling that I had coming back, years later to stand before these same people as the Consul General of Morocco asserting consular jurisdiction at their venue and holding them to treaty obligations with Morocco Consular Court, i.e. the people, right? And it's a very good feeling, by the way. And he said, well, are you an attorney? I said, no, I'm not an attorney. You have communications as to who I am in your hand. So he tried to overtalk me. He said, sit down. I said, no. And I asked him, are you refusing again to allow our national his treaty right to consular jurisdiction? He said, please sit down again. And I turned around. I said, okay, we all witnessed treason. Let us be out. As I turned around, the bailiff who we were speaking to was already to our left. And he whispered something to Brother Adil. Brother Adil looked at me and said, nah, we good. And then I looked at somebody across the room, or no, it was to my left. And I said, oh, we're good. So he said, well, yeah, you're good. Just sit down. So we sat down. Okay, let's sit down. We had a seat. And they were moving forward with their, their collusive actions on the color of law, the traffic proceedings. And then they called, he went back up front and then he came back to us, the bailiff that is. And he said, can we speak out in the hallway? So we went into the hallway, me and Brother Dill, and he said, the state's attorney is dropping all the charges and they're releasing your brother. They're releasing him right now. So there was a victory. Now, I don't want to say that to say it's that easy, because it's not easy. You have to study and show yourself approved. You don't just show yourself approved via paperwork, because you still got to enforce it. Remember, there's 3 powers of government. The power to make law, that's legislative. The power to interpret and apply the law, that's judicial. And also the power to execute and enforce the law, that's executive. We all have those powers. So we all have to exercise those powers. And it doesn't just take heart, it takes intelligence. Because to do it without intelligence, you will be found out. All right? So I'm sure that the brothers and sisters here have an experience, because that was, pretty much their first time witnessing consular jurisdiction, and I wanted to let them share. But before I do, I also wanted to say that we have a special announcement, and we'll wait till later to make that special announcement. So please, Dr. G, or one of you all, could you remind me to make a special announcement? We had recorded. Well, no, you know what? I'll let you all just speak. I'll save that for a part of the special announcement. Oh, let me get back. Islam, you all got the floor.
Islam. So I know it's a lot to kind of digest based off of what we've just shared with everyone. But again, it is also proof that the experience of enforcing treaty rights and standing on the principles of the Constitution as it was constructed by our ancient foremothers and forefathers, of us being we the people, that was notified in the preamble of the construct of the Constitution. Once you are competent to stand on that principle and enforce that principle and be obligated to its support by international and treaty laws, then the ability to be able to be victorious shows within the workings of what you do. Again, you also have to be competent in your studies and also disciplined in your behavior and your action. They are magicians and they are high priests, so they know how to detect when somebody is in dishonor. But again, it also comes in strength in numbers, and everybody within your numbers have to be on the same page and one accord with yourself. So that requires for you to assemble amongst each other and study, do deep research and analysis and investigation of information, to where when you really look at who you're dealing with or who you're up against, you know exactly how they're either going to attack you or how they're going to defend themselves. But as long as you stand on the principles as it was constructed without there being any delusion of it, then you would actually see that you would be rewarded a favorable reply. Now, again, they're also demonstrating theatrics in their venues, because this is also like what Grand Sheik always redundantly stated, the principle or the analogy of the Wizard of Oz. They're playing that they're the great grand wizard that everybody should be all fearing and trembling behind just at the presence of them. So they're not going to willingly just pull their own curtain and show that they're really without power. That's something that you're going to have to do consistently and diligently. And even as they are, in a sense, admitting that they are without power or without jurisdiction or without the authority, they're still going to go out in the illusion that, oh, well, we're just going to just give it this way. Which is, again, how, and this is one of the conversations that I wanted to share, the experience that I had with Brother Lamont when we were speaking to the bailiff. This is all prior to us even going into the tribunal, and this is even after. But Brother Lamont had already made a statement that he's aware that Judge Hennessy is a Mason, and that there is going to be a presentation that's going to be shared with the tribunal. However, for those that don't have the eyes to see or the ears to hear the concept of what was going on, that it's going to perceive to be that there is a major dispute that's going on. Although he was speaking in codes, because if anybody else, if they lack the status or the competency to stand on those principles, immediately they would either been escorted out by way of either handcuffs or some type of restraint. Judge Hennessy never threw us out. The acting judge, the administrator acting as a judge, never enforced or ordered that we be thrown out of his venue. He only ordered that we sit down. So anybody else, if they lack the status or the competency, immediately they would be held in contempt, which is in dishonor. So if you don't know how to stand on the rules and the obligations and the principles as it pertains to that judicial authority, then you will be held in contempt, which means that now you are in totally dishonor, and then whatever type of mistreatment or misuse that you can be bestowed upon you from that venue or from that person acting as they got the authority, they have they feel as though that they can do so at their own will. So one of the things that was very interesting is the fact that he ordered that we just sit down. He never said, get these people out of my courtroom. He never said that. So that we were already aware of, Brother Lamont and myself, as we were sharing that with the head bailiff, that this is what was going to play out. And we already know that he's not going to just openly just admit that he has no authority, has no power, no jurisdiction, or any laws that he can enforce based on the fact that he's in an obligated status based off the supreme law of the land, Constitution, in pursuit of article of the treaties. So when anybody's making reference to the Constitution, you got to know that that is a document that creates like the platform. It's almost like the diving board to the swimming pool. So the Constitution is the diving board of the platform which you jump into the pool. The treaty is the pool. So anybody that makes reference to the Constitution, say Constitution, whichever article, Article 3, Section 2, in pursuance to whatever article of the treaty. So that way that shows them that that's their binding obligation under oath, that they have to support it. That's the reason why Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution for the United States Republic of North America is so vital, because it extends to all cases. So what does it extend? It extends their support and their obligation to all cases involving law and amity, and also equity, and also public ministers and consuls. So you hold them to their obligations as it pertains to that platform that our forefathers created, constructed for them to be recognized by any other nation, because they are not a aggregate landmass. They are a private corporation that was constructed on paper. So we, the Moroccan Empire, through history, and Barack Obama made a statement like that too back in 2010 or so, that Morocco was the first nation to recognize the United States. So how was it that we recognized them? By a treaty. So we, being of the dominion of the Moroccan Empire, and we're the Aboriginal people of this land, we have those rights that we must enforce, and they have to be obligated to that.
Islam, and I wanted to say this too. Yeah, I forgot to mention that. We talked to the bailiff. I pulled them outside. This is because when we first got in the courtroom, well, not the courtroom, when we first got in the venue, we sat down in orderly fashion. Adil and I got up to give the acting assistant state's attorney, who was claiming to prosecute the case, Islam, bro. We met with him to give him a copy of the 2 certified writs that were in the record. These foreign hybrid European colonists. And I let him know, listen, we're here to exercise consular jurisdiction over our national, and I need you to go back there.
It's only instructions.
To go there to let him know that we're here, because he did not know we were there, and to let him know that we were here to exercise consular jurisdiction for the protection of his treaty rights. He said, all right, well, I'll see what I can do. And he went in the back, then he came out eventually, and then he started dilly-dallying, somewhere, amongst the desk and all of that, the bench. And this is before the proceeding went forward, was started, really. And then he came to his desk, and then he said, permission to speak with the judge in the judge's chamber, or permission to go to the judge's chamber. I never heard him say that before. And the clerk at the time was like, of course you can go back there. So he went back there. He said it kind of shakingly. And then he came back out, and he went back to his desk, and he didn't look at us, acknowledge us, or anything. So I was like, okay, hold on. Let me run back up there real quick. So I came back up to him. I said, hey, so what did he say? And this dude looked at me like, well, who are you? Who are you? Are you here for a case?
First conversation.
Yeah, he did not just meet me, right? So I was like, what do you mean? Am I here? What are you talking about? You just talked to me. He said, no, I never met you a day in my life. So I'm like, okay, hold on. So I took my glasses off, and I said, you mean to tell me you never met me? I'm the only person in this room that looked like how I look with all this stuff on. You never met? Really? Okay, fine. So I went back to my seat, and I thought about it. I said, you know what? I think I know how this is going to go, because, he went back there, talked, and then came back out. Now he's acting as if he's never met me before. So, yeah, that's right. They're actors. They're all acting. It's all a damn dog and pony show. So I called the bailiff. I signaled the bailiff to come speak with me in the hallway. And Adil and I went into the hallway with the bailiff. And I said, okay, listen. The bailiff remembered me from 2013 and 2014. I said, listen, I want you to know that I see that the state's attorney is, playing little games, like he didn't just talk to me a few minutes ago after he went in the back and came back out. So I'm gonna let you know what's about to happen. If you all's venue move forward and, with this proceeding and take our national back into the detainment without offering him his treaty right to consular jurisdiction or allowing him to assert it, then I have to speak up. I have to do my job as consul. So what's going to happen is you all's pretend judge is going to say something. I'm going to say something else. Now, it might appear as if we're at odds. If he goes high, I'm going to go low. If he goes low, I might go high. However, I'm going to speak in an intelligent tone so that I can get my point across, because we have to assert consular jurisdiction if our national doesn't assert it, right? And I don't want you to think that I'm being combative or belligerent or anything like that. I'm gonna stay in peace. We're all gonna stay in peace because we're upholding the principles in the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, all right, that we have with the United States of North America. So we're upholding our obligations because you have to uphold your obligation in the treaty. Whatever article that you're enforcing, and this is me talking generally, whatever article you're enforcing in the treaty, you have to oblige yourself to it too. You can't just hold the opposing party to the obligations of the treaty and you yourself aren't obligated, meaning you yourself aren't exercising the principles in that article or those set of articles, right? So I explained that to him. He said, okay. I said, and also he's a 32nd or 33rd degree Freemason, so he knows exactly what I'm saying. And he knows that I know that exactly what he's saying. You see what I'm saying? So we went back in the courtroom or the venue, and exactly what I said happened. And it was funny, but it's because I knew that was going to happen because I went through it too many times, you know. So same thing when we went to the detention centers, my last point, they said, oh, well, yeah, Javar has detainers on him in other counties. I think it was Montgomery County. Mm-hmm. And, you know, our Razam, Sister Amara, who's to my left, she looked it up on her phone and saw that there were active warrants, you know, under color of law, of course, against the straw man that they were attempting to hold him as surety for. And I explained to the captain in front of the detention center, and you all can see it in the pictures. Well, no, I don't think we took that picture. Me talking to the captain. I said, well, he's not being released on the order of W. Lewis Hennessy. He's being released on my order, issued from Morocco Consular Court at the Maryland State Republic. And he said, okay, well, I'm just letting you know, and he has to go before the commissioner. The commissioner is the one that's going to determine if he has to be held so that Montgomery County can come pick him up on the detainer, or if he can be released. And I said, well, the commissioner is going to get, you all's commissioner is going to get the certified copy of the documents that ordered for his release, and he's going to release him. So we'll be right here waiting. And we waited, and it appeared as if they wasn't going to release him. It wasn't until, what was that, an hour? Yeah. Like about an hour, we done went way down to somewhere else. I ain't going to say the location. Right. We went somewhere else, and that's when Brother Javar called my phone and said, yeah, it was Islam, bro, I'm released, I'm out. So we celebrated. We went up there, took pictures in front of Charles County Sheriff Department. You all can see that on the website as well. And yeah, I'll leave the rest to you all, you know, make the announcement later. I keep catching myself. Yeah. I'm about to go into that. Yeah.
May I interject? I've been quiet. I have some questions. I have a few questions at least. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go back to the day that day in question. How did you all present yourselves when you went to the de facto court? I'm looking at you. You got badges. I've seen you got you've got your uniforms and so forth. So how exactly did you go into the de facto court, and how were you received?
Yes, I mean, well, as in demonstrating the articles of the treaty as a convoy. So, and then you're talking in the Article 4 where it says a signal or pass. So the signals was our flags on our conveyances as we was convoying to the tribunal. So everything was done in an organized body. So the presence of seeing that there's a structure in place, there was the energy of discipline. So therefore that gets a lot of attention that way. And so when we all had assembled outside in the parking lot of the tribunal, we basically kind of briefed each other as to what to expect when we go into their tribunal, and also the fact that we need to have respect for, all provisions, just so that we're demonstrating that we're in honor as we're presenting a foreign jurisdiction.
And mention the brothers and sisters that came from.
Yes, and so there were brothers and sisters that had that traveled from other territories, as far as New York, as far as Chicago Republic Territory, Pennsylvania Territory, Virginia. So we basically were really in an organized body. So the respect that is to be given when they see that there's a structure is a little bit different than when you're coming in the presence of another structure of operations and you're not in you're in total disharmony, or you don't have that energy within you that you are competent or you are all knowing of who you are and where you're standing. So that, I think, alone was something that really was a very interesting thing for them to be able to see, to display that, you know, where we have brothers and sisters that are of Moorish American nationality and descent, when they go into these tribunals and we're trying to deal with what they call the big bad wolf, they're looking at the illusion that the strength is really in the numbers. A lot of them, whether they're corporate deputy policy enforcers, you can see that the way that they present themselves and, you know, their construct, they, you know, tactical gear and, you know, arms on the sides and all that. And a lot of that can be perceived as an intimidating presentment of what they're doing. But at the same time, when you actually show a structure of discipline and respect, then it kind of makes them want to be hesitant as to if they're going to impose any color of authority or any color of law on you. That right there, I think, was something that the brothers and sisters that were physically there in these locations to see how it was demonstrated. I think that was something that really resonated in them, that there's got to be truth in what we're doing, especially when you're doing it, you know, as far as crossing your T's, dotting your I's, everything to the letter of the law. And it's also, as stated in the prophet's divine warning, you know, when you ask in an intelligent tone, then you'll be lucky to render a favorable reply. So if you demonstrate respect, you'll get respect, even if though they try to color their presentment of respect, just as what the administrative judge Hennessy did by acting administrative judge, or Judge Hennessy acting in a private corporation capacity as an administrative clerk. With respect, he never enforced or ordered any of his alleged deputies or the bailiff to throw us out of his venue. He just asked and enforced that we sit down. So I think with that, it shows a level of respect in terms of how they play their position and how we play our position, because it's all a big chess game. So if you know the parts and their moves, and you know how to counter or how to actually enforce your moves, and do it with respect, then the outcome will be what it is. So for those that were actually there, I know that they have, and I think in the end result of it was the fact that our brother was released from captivity. And to hear his testament to Brother Lamont and myself as to what was said by the acting attorney, he went in there because the order was that he go in there to inform Brother Jafar that we were in the tribunal and we were there on behalf of enforcing consular jurisdiction. He went back there, and this is the words according to Brother Jafar. He said when he came in that room, the consultation room, he said he was all shaken and jittery, and he tried to present another plea to him, and he just basically just denied any communication with regards to an offer or anything. So when he came, what is this guy's name? Anyway, we'll call him Foreign Billy Bob. So Foreign Billy Bob came out of the room with Brother Jafar, and I think one of the things that kind of saved him in a sense was because when me and Brother Lamont went up there and ordered that he informed our national that we were out there for his support, we went and sat back down. Now, had we have been standing there waiting to see what the response was, I think it would have really shaken him up a lot more. But the fact when he came out, he looked towards us and saw that we were sitting. So that's when he went to his desk and started filing with some paperwork and stuff. And then immediately, I think Brother Lamont and I was getting ready to sit or rise up again to either approach him, and that's when he asked that he go back in and speak to Hennessy in the judge's chambers. And so, and then when he came out, and this is the clarity as to what Brother Lamont was talking about when we went back and approached him. He said, I went back there and I talked to Brother Jafar. And so Brother Lamont said, okay, and so what was the result? He said, oh, he didn't want to speak to me. And Brother Lamont questioned him and said, now, did you inform him that we are here on behalf of him in support to exercise consular jurisdiction? He said, no, I didn't speak to him about that. So, of course, we're looking at him now like, well, then what exactly did you go back there for? Because that was the order that our Consular General, had ordered that you go back there to let our national know, inform him that we're out here. And he said, no, I went there to make an offer. And he didn't want to speak to me, a plea offer. He didn't want to speak to me. So he basically went back there and tried to cut another deal. And then, of course, I guess when I'm just projecting that when he went back and spoke to Hennessy in the chambers, there was information shared with Hennessy that who we were, where, that we were there in the venue, and what the instructions was given by us to him to go speak to Jafar. So I think that gave them a little bit more time to come up with a strategy as to how they're going to either try to shun this from being in their records. And so basically when Hennessy come there and questioned Brother Jafar, he only questioned him with regards to the offer that was again asserted by the state's attorney Billy Bob, whatever it is. And so Brother Jafar said, "Yes, I'm aware of that." He said, and Hennessy said, "And as I am informed that you are denying or you're refusing any any offer or accepting any offers," and Brother Jafar said, "Yes, I'm refusing." And that's when they immediately moved him and moved to the next case. So that's when again we're looking like, okay, so what is to be had from that situation? But knowing that they have to recognize that everything as far as in public records is for also analysis and scrutiny. So if they were to put on the record that by us being there enforcing consular jurisdiction and support to that national, and the fact that they themselves have not even made the attempt to inform our national, then they're in violation of treaty laws right there. Absolutely. So they kept things in operation of their capacity of their jurisdiction.
So on what basis then was he released? Was the case dismissed?
It was dismissed. Well, first I wanted to say we went in there in an orderly fashion. We didn't go in there as a big group just going in there all at once. No, we went in there in an orderly fashion, in a straight line, and everybody had specific duties. We had the flag bearer that led the consular court and the witnesses. Then we had an officer, the Sharif, who was Brother Eric behind me, and then we had another brother who was keeping record, and myself and everyone else, and then witnesses as well. And we also had other special witnesses that was on the platform that we'll talk about later. And I'm saying that because that was a good question that you asked. How did you all come into the venue? In an orderly fashion. All right. We were also on Mondays, we do drills and formation training. And for everybody who's been in the military, you know what that is. So that we can learn how to come under a chain of command. No one's the boss, we're the boss of ourselves. However, there is a such thing called chain of command, right? Now, as far as the question, what were you saying? Dr. G, you just asked the question. You can't hear. You muted.
You muted.
Yeah, I got it. It appears from what, if I understand you correctly, that in an attempt to avoid to put certain truths on the record as to why the brother was released, they dismissed the charges. So what I was asking is on what basis were those charges dismissed, if not because for the fact that he was unlawfully detained as a Moorish American Aboriginal, national. Well, what was the basis? Because I'm thinking in terms of when we talk about what I said at the very beginning, stare decisis. So if another more, and there will be others, will have the same situation arise, what would they be able to base their defense on?
So, he was released on the arrangement that was set forth in the Writ of Quo Warranto, all right, which is on page 6 of 8. However, if you go to Charles County District Court case records, page 6 of 8 is missing.
It's missing.
So the arrangement is upon your default, because this is the Writ of Quo Warranto, order to prove jurisdiction and to produce the 5 elements of evidence, right? Upon the default of that, meaning failure, you shall forthwith execute the writ of habeas corpus ad subjiciendum and release our Moorish American national Javad Abdul Adel El without condition or delay. That's the release. Now, the dismissal came by way of the order of default. The order of default on page 5 of 7 states that it is, wait a minute, let me make sure. Yep. It is further, and this is the bottom paragraph of page 5 of 7 of the order of default. It is further ordered in a judge that the colorable administrative hearing set forth June 17, 2021, in docket numbers, and give the citation numbers, the 4 citations, in the records of the Foreign District Court for Charles County, and any attachments associated thereto, are null and void ab initio and are unenforceable for lack of jurisdiction and fraud until the writ of quo warranto is answered by the defendants and jurisdiction is proved to exist. Now, the case Mello versus Utah Power and Light Company. And I think I mentioned that in the quo warranto, yep, where it says the collusive, this is on page 5 of 8 in the writ of quo warranto, bottom paragraph. The collusive action and colorable administrative proceedings and docket numbers, and then mentioned the 4 citations, are not valid until jurisdiction is proved to exist. Otherwise, docket numbers, and any attachments associated thereto must be dismissed with prejudice for lack of jurisdiction and fraud. See Mello versus United States. I quoted the wrong case law, which reads, once jurisdiction is challenged, the court cannot proceed when it clearly appears that the court lacks jurisdiction. The court has no authority to reach merits, but rather should dismiss the action. So that's why they dismissed the action. Not because they said so, but because consular jurisdiction said so. And remember, the writ of quo warranto and the order of default was issued by Morocco Consular Court and filed in the records of Morocco Consular Court, being the action being, and you'll read this on page 1 of 8 on the writ of quo warranto and page 1 of 7 on the order of default. The proceeding is ex parte, Eric Khalil Bey, and that's the brother right here, our Sharif. Ex rel, that means on the information of. Ex parte means to be heard by one side only. Eric Khalil Bey, ex rel, Javad Abdul Adel El, who are the plaintiffs, versus W. Lewis Hennessy, Patrick H. Lovelace, Troy D. Berry, Brandon Foster, and Anthony B. Covington, who are the defendants. This proceeding comes under Article 20 of the Treaty of Peace and Friendship, which states, if any of the citizens of the United States or any persons under their protection shall have any disputes with each other, the consul shall decide between the parties. So this is reflecting a dispute. The dispute was heard in the venue, our venue, Morocco Consular Court, at the foreign jurisdiction called Maryland State Republic. And the consul, being myself, made the decision of writ of habeas corpus back in March, and they defaulted to execute that. Thus, they were in default and breach of duty. And then the issuance of the writ of quo warranto and the order of default. So in that order was the law carried into effect. Remember, due process of law is the process of law that is a prerequisite to anyone being deprived of their life, liberty, or estate, property, right? You can't be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. Due process of law, the essentials is notice and the opportunity to be heard. So we gave them notice. They didn't say anything. We gave them 2 more notices in the form of a writ of quo warranto and order of default. Then we came to the venue to do the investigation. So you can't just talk trash on paper. That's not what gets the case dismissed. You have to talk truth on paper and be what you're speaking. What it say in the Circle 7? Man knows nothing by being told. If man was to accept what others says, he simply believes, he does not know. For man must himself be what he knows. So if you saying that you know this stuff on this paper that you type up and you send to that venue, you got to be it. If you say you're a court, you have to be a court. Court is not one person. Court is the person and suit of the sovereign. Person is short for personality, and suit, which is the following of the sovereign. All right. So that's court. You have to be what you know. You have to be the paperwork. Most people say you have to stand on the paperwork. No, be it. Be the paperwork. All right. And that's why you got to study and show yourself approved. That actually was a study, because the documents that you have on that website is called stare decisis or stare decisis, to stand by thing already done that can't be disputed. Can't be disputed that we are the descendants of we the people. Can't be disputed that we cannot exercise the powers of the Republican government. Can't be disputed that consular court and consular jurisdiction cannot be cannot be exercised on our land, because it was already done. It was done. Stare decisis. Not only that, that was habeas corpus. Also, if you go to traffic court cases, you'll see a number of cases that was dismissed. When you exercise your right, your treaty rights and constitutionally secured rights, and you're communicating with someone that is of foreign citizenship, foreign descent, it's automatically consular jurisdiction, because that is the international communication that you are having with this foreigner. All right.
That's the central hub.
That is the field that you play football on. You don't go to basketball court to play football, and vice versa. So the field, the platform, the venue is consular court, consular jurisdiction. Just because the dictionary defines consular court as a court from one country within the territory of another, that court can also be from one country at the territory of another, just like they're attorneys at law and not in law, or you're at the door, you ain't in the house, you at the door. All right. So we were in the building that is called Charles County District Court, but we weren't in Charles County District Court, because that's a jurisdiction. It's a corporate jurisdiction. We were at Charles County District Court, just like Maryland. We're not in Maryland. We're at the Maryland State Republic, because the land is not Maryland. The land is not the District of Columbia. The land is not California or Georgia or any of that. Those are jurisdictions. Then you have to qualify. Are you speaking of the state of Georgia, which is de facto and unconstitutional and wasn't sanctioned by any supreme law of the land? Or are you speaking about the Georgia State Republic, which is authorized and sanctioned under Article 4, Section 4, where it says the United States should guarantee to every state in this union a republic of form of government. Because if you are speaking about the Georgia State Republic or the Maryland State Republic, then they know, and you should know, that the powers of the people can be exercised directly by the people. And that's what was done. It can't be disputed. Mute.
I keep muting myself because there's an echo when I leave it up.
Yeah,
So anyone in another jurisdiction, in another, your Moors listening from all over, and they will be listening to this afterwards, who may not be on the live. They don't have, maybe in their, where they are, where they domicile, there may not be a consular venue such as what you have at Maryland State Republic. So how do they go about, I know you said study, but how does a person who might be saying, well, that's fine, but I don't know anyone in my area that, or there is no venue, there's no consular representation, or no presentation, not representation, but there's no consular court. There's no group. Sometimes they call me and say, I don't know another Moore,
Yes. So,
and it's not that they don't see another melanated person, but they realize that everyone around them, is, stateless or in a state of, being, asleep with regard to their nationality and birthright. And so how does someone else exercise what you all exercise without having, you've been at this for a while. You all have training. You have, I don't know what you call them, mock courts, but you have a whole bunch of things going that prepared you all for things such as this. But how does someone that doesn't have this, what do they do? Because, they're probably saying, yeah, that's good for you all, but how about over here in, Timbuktu, where I am?
Yes.
So a lot of people reach out and they say, hey, can you come to our territory and exercise consular jurisdiction and all of that? And I always meet them with the answer, I can't, because that's outside of my jurisdiction. I was voted in as Consul General of Morocco. I also noticed that a lot of people call themselves Consul General. So only be one. It's an office. It's not me.
Yes.
It's an office, right? And if no different than a mechanic, if you say you're a mechanic, you got to fix a car. If you did not fix a car, you can go to Lincoln Tech, graduate, get a certificate and all of that. That doesn't make you a mechanic until you fix a car. So you can exercise consular jurisdiction. However, you can't call yourself a consul. I ain't gonna say you can't. You can. However, a tree is known by its fruits
that it bears.
The fruits that it bears. So if you haven't done what consuls do, then how are you a consul? So what I tell people is I invite them to the platform. So everyone that's watching this right now, you are invited to go to enforcetheconstitution.org, contact us on the website, and you'll see the email enforcetheconstitution@protonmail.com. We have Zoom civic workshops on Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It is invitation only. So you have to get your invitation through enforcetheconstitution.org, or you can go straight to the email enforcetheconstitution@protonmail.com. That is PROTON mail.com. And you'll get your invitation that way. We send out the link via text message. Soon we're going to just send it out via email once we set up what we're setting up, what we're in the process of setting up now. And what I promote people to do is, first I get everyone that reaches out to me, I get them all in one group text thread. So if it's Moors that are at the New York State Republic jurisdiction, or if it's Moors at the Chicago jurisdiction, I will group all of them in one text thread so that they can communicate with each other, and I promote them to start a study group. Yes. So that they can go over concepts, because you have to study and show yourself approved. and then we meet on Sunday. Eventually, we're going to have a curriculum for the enforcetheconstitution.org civic organization, so that everyone that agrees to the curriculum, you'll know that, of course, we're not speaking anything that are unconstitutional. Drew Ali, and I have to say this, chapter 47.
Yes.
Chapter 47. Circle 7, somebody got the circle 7. Chapter 47, starting at verse, I believe it's 16. It says, through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. I spoke about this in the last interview with you, Dr. G. You can't serve two masters, right? And some people took it as, oh, you ain't supposed to be serving masters, we sovereign. Principles, you can't serve two principles, right. To make it clear, all right? Can't serve two principles. That is why, this is 17, that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in the 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. Grand Sheikh Taj Tariq Bey always reminds everyone that the principles that are listed in the Constitution and treaty are ancient. They actually predate the Constitution and treaty. Those are the principles of our ancient foremothers and forefathers that were the founders of civilization on this planet. Those principles. When you stray after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing, of whom you knew nothing, that is the processes and instruments that foreign hybrid European colonists and their platforms or their venues create. When you stray after that, you're violating the principles of your ancient foremothers and forefathers. That's the very reason why we lost our nationality in 1774, and it is still the reason why they're depriving you of your nationality in 2021. So, first and foremost, we don't deal with anything that are unconstitutional. We don't promote anything that are unconstitutional, and we don't allow any promotion on our platform that's unconstitutional principles. That's first and foremost. Second, we promote, like I said, everyone to start study groups, to build on consular jurisdiction, treaty enforcement, and also to study the treatise, the lesson that Brother Taj Tariq Bey put together in lesson book number 14, as well as the restoration of consular courts and juror questionnaire. Both of those can be found online, the enforcetheconstitution.org website. Click on study material for Moors. You'll see those instruments, and I got you. And we promote them to study, to show yourself approved. Eventually, once everybody at their territory get familiar with each other and build a trust among each other, then they can appoint what is called trustees of the territory. Eventually, the trustee will take the position as consul, right? Or not appoint, but elect the trustee. The trustee would then take the position of consul. Once everyone at the territory in the study group study the lesson book dealing with titled Rudder and Sextant. The Rudder and Sextant is also available online at enforcetheconstitution.org, study material for Moors. So then we, promote that you exercise the consular jurisdiction. That's studying and showing yourself approved. You also can study the different documents on the website that we exercise consular jurisdiction, or me, myself, I think I only exercise consular jurisdiction in for someone else in maybe a few other cases, but I've always exercised consular assistance, and that's basically me drafting the documents for you, and then we do a training. I do a one-on-one training with the person that hires me to give them consular assistance I do a one-on-one training with them to make sure that they're studying the documents before they sign it and then put it out there, right? So we train, yes, we do PT, that's physical training, because the body, the mind, and the spirit has to be in alignment. So you're not just, training on paperwork. Let me type this paperwork correct and make sure the words are right. No, you got to make sure your body's correct, because the body is the temple where the spirit dwells, right? That's the soul of man. So your body has to be correct. And you have to also learn how to be wrong. That's also known as learn how to take a butt whooping. Because you have to, in order to rebuild, you have to be destroyed. That's why, when you go to military boot camp, they destroy you so that they can rebuild you. That's what we do. It's called murder board. We mentioned it before. Now, we haven't been doing murder board lately, but okay. We haven't done murder board lately because we're still trying to, get everybody's concepts correct. Well, we're not getting everybody's concept. We're waiting for everyone to concepts to get correct. Asking questions, things of that nature. But pretty much, we do PT. We do formations. We also do firearms training, but we don't publicly display that because that's private. No one needs to know how good we shoot our firearms. But most importantly, civic classes and holy day classes on Friday where you study the Circle 7, because it's a divine and national movement. It's not just a national movement. You have to know the above in order to understand and comprehend and be able to withstand the below. Because if you read chapter 1, which what Brother Tariq Bey went over in the last session with Dr. G, it talks about the unnumbered foes. When you conquer the cardinal plane, right? Then it falls away, and then you stand before. It says, then he will stand untrampled on the plane of soul, where he must complete his victories. Unnumbered foes will stand before man upon the plane of soul. These he must overcome, yea, overcome them every one. That's the thoughts that come to your head that says it's not right, you can't do it, it's not going to work, he's going to throw you in jail, he's going to call contempt, you're going to sound stupid. Yeah, those are the unnumbered foes. So you have to study the divine as well as the national, all right? So this is all the requirements that needs to be done in order to exercise consular jurisdiction. And yes, I've done it by myself before. So you can't make the excuse of, well, y'all got so many officers and y'all all together, and that's why they honor y'all and ain't respecting y'all. Nope. I did it by myself. Y'all saw the Mansion case, 2013, 2014. So Drew Ali took away all the excuses. The only excuses we got is what we give. Islam.
Islam. Also, to add to that, I know as initially what you had questioned, Dr. J, was how did we all come together? I think when you're looking at the 5 principles of light, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, I mean, you have to be in harmony and in sync with that within yourself first, because then what you do is that you're now sending out a vibration or an energy of which it would either attract you to those that are of that same frequency or that same vibration, or it's like-minded or mind detect mind. So with what we've done, I mean, this was not something into what we see in our construct was how we deliberately had planned it. It was just by being in harmony with the divine energies of the cosmos. And so the fact that we have not put ourselves in positions of where we're dealing with the emotions and the arrogance and all that, we're just dealing with it with sincerity. We're dealing with it by showing and demonstrating that pure love that has always existed in the nature of everybody and the nature of laws itself. So in the course of doing that, you are going to go through your own series of baptisms where you may be amongst brothers and sisters, where if you are actually on a cause or on a journey that is greater than yourself. That's the one thing that I see was my foundation to where I got to where I'm at now. I noticed that there's a purpose for this experience that is greater beyond what I could even comprehend at that moment. And so in the process of doing that, you're going to be tested within yourself, because as you dealing with a concept or dealing with an understanding that others on the outside may not be within harmony with how you're seeing things, they're going to turn away from you, or they're going to reject you, or they're going to challenge your position of that. And even though a journey may be long, and it may be either where you're flying solo, but eventually you'll notice that on that same journey, as you get further down, there's somebody else that's on the same path with you. And eventually that's what has taken place with what we got going here. We have brothers and sisters here that we are all in harmony with how we are seeing this thing, how we are understanding the principles that was laid out. And even as the divine warning and the visions that the prophet had laid out, he laid out by his own examples. Just as it was saying in Circle 7, a person that stands in the corner of a pointer is just only a pointer, and a block of wood can do the same thing. So the prophet went the way to get the experience and the knowledge and the understanding and the overstanding, to where he can actually lay them down in these structured lessons and degrees, for that we being also, as stated in the preamble, the posterity. We're the future generations that was constructed, that was mentioned back by our ancient foremothers and forefathers of that time. So they have put these constructs in place for our protections. But then again, we cannot act as though that we're not in honor with the purpose and the principles that were laid out. These are all reference material, and they're also guidance that keeps you in right standing and in divine energy and in divine harmony. So when you yourself come amongst brothers and sisters that may be in the same aggregate territory or the location that you are, then this is what you need to be seeking. And then also, if your intent, if anybody that has a very finite intent, then it's going to be revealed anyway. We've had certain experiences like that within amongst our own network of brothers and sisters here, that they would perceive themselves to be really in right standing with the energy that we're projecting, the divine honor and the respect and sincerity. But as time progresses, and as there's time and opportunity for everybody to start ascending, then you will see where they're actually stopping themselves, or they're being exposed of what their intentions were. So then from that, then that's where you're talking about the principle of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So then justice will take its course regardless. So if you yourself are not really in harmony and in a divine connection with those principles, then this is what's going to always be a challenge that you're going to walk amongst and you're going to experience internally and also externally around you. So I would strongly suggest that what we all do is put the egos down, put your emotions in a basket. That's your own personal direct baptism that you must cleanse yourself from. So it's no sense of taking the position of, oh, we all need to be in harmony and we all need to be in harmony. But then we all have these, we all are experiencing these platforms or these interchanges where there's somebody that's trying to counter somebody else because they're proving that, oh, they did this and this worked. But then what did that do for the platform that I set up? Even though my intentions, I don't want anybody to see that I was looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe it's for momentarily gain and profits. Generally, those are the trolls that have those assignments or those hidden agendas, that they're not really attacking those that are conscious or competent. Matter of fact, Brother Nick Cannon was an example of that several months back from what that interview that he had with Professor Griff. If we understand the energy of the dark priesthood and the deceptive energies that are out there, their focus is not for those that are already outside of the fence or outside of that gate in freedom. Their focus is to keep those that have yet seen the pathway or the roadmap that can give them to their own freedom and salvation, keep them locked in the fence. So they are going to try to expand and blast out and try to, blaspheme something that somebody has done, when clearly when you're dealing with truth and the principles of truth, it can't be disputed. So remove the emotions and look at things from a sincere position. And so then let the truth speak to you.
And also, don't waste your time with people that never proved anything that they were talking about. We waste our time with worthless conversations and worthless arguments. If someone claims or makes a claim that this is how you're supposed to do it, and they can't prove their claim, prove it beyond reasonable doubt, meaning you can take your finger and put your finger on it, then you're wasting your time. Because a tree is known by its fruits, by the fruits that it bears. Do not waste your time. This is just a suggestion, because we don't do this. Don't waste your time on worthless arguments. People that are trying to discourage you, or if you're encouraged, and people that are trying to take you off or distract you or entertain you with a bunch of BS that has no fruition to it. If they say they did it this way and it worked, they're supposed to prove it. Because like the chapter read in Circle 7, what the brother mentioned, what did it say? Chapter 4, Death and Burial of Elizabeth Matheno's Lessons in the Ministry of Death. Reading from verse 14, men need a pattern for their lives. They love to follow, not to lead. The man who stands upon the corners of the paths and point the way, but does not go, is just a pointer, and a block of wood can do the same. The teacher treads the way. On every span of ground, he leaves his footprints clearly cut, which all can see and be assured that he, their master, went that way. You know what that's called? Res judicata. It's also called stare decisis or stare decisis law. That means something that was done and it cannot be refuted because you can put your finger on it. It's proven. It's proof. So now is the time for everyone, and this is what I'm saying to everybody, because Taj already said it, and they're showing that right now in everybody's society. Now is the time for you to prove what you know. You say you know something, you got to prove it. Because they coming with their tricks. We already know what they is, you know, what they are. You don't have to talk about it on the platform for the sake of, you know, them trying to censor. But they're coming. They've been coming. And they got a lot of people fooled. Yes. So if they don't have you fooled and you know better, then you have to do better. You have to show. You have to prove. That's our culture. We already know how to challenge each other, right? When it comes to basketball, proving who's the best basketball player or football player, right? But when it comes to challenging a person that is offering their assistance or their help, you can challenge them. You're supposed to. If you go to an attorney, you're not going to just hire any old attorney. You're going to look to see if he has any cases won, right? Record. Right? It's called a record. Stare decisis. You're not going to go to a doctor to have brain surgery on your son or daughter, or heart surgery on your son or daughter if you ain't looked that doctor's credentials up. And if you do, then that means, you know, you're ignorant. And that's not a insult. That's the meaning of the word ignorant. You know, the first word of ignorant is ignore. That means it's there. You was aware of it, but you didn't take your time out to pay it attention. You did not pay attention to what was there by choice. Exactly. So now's the time to prove, and it's also the time to stop being distracted by worthless, frivolous. It's the attorney's word, frivolous, useless conversations. Also called in 2 Timothy. What's that? 2 Timothy was says, study and show yourself approved before God, a workman who need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Unmute Dr. G so that we can have your motherly energy to qualify that. We need you unmute.
No, that's right. You know, that's what
we need you. We need that motherly energy to qualify.
Well, that's what the word said. It says, study to show thyself approved, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
And then it says afterwards, it says, and stay away from worthless babble. Right?
And we pay attention to a lot of that. Unfortunately, we get caught up in that.
And real quick, the attention that we pay is the full faith and credit.
Yes.
The attention that you give to anything is called full faith and credit, and it's mentioned under Article 4, Section 1. The full faith and credit is your attention. Your attention is your energy. That's why when you pay it, you get exhausted afterwards. You read a book, oh man, this Circle 7, yeah, that's attention, that's energy, that's the force. That's the force. So we got to stop paying attention to BS. Islam,
and you're right about that. And I didn't look at it that way, but you're absolutely right. That payment of the energy exchange, what you have to give out in order to learn, to study, and you have to give something in order to get something. So, hopefully there's a balance there. The other thing that I was going to say, and I know we're at the last 5 minutes. Well, another thing I was going to say when you were talking about, sometimes people will come together and groups will come together, but they don't everyone doesn't mix. And now I found that there's some groups that absolutely will check. They want everybody's, birth date and time and location, so they can do an astrological chart and begin to do a compatibility. Because sometimes even, that's what they used to do when they call so-called arranged marriages. But even in partnerships and teams that come together, oftentimes there's nothing wrong with the individual. It's just that they're in the wrong group.
Either that, or then at the same time too, when you study their energies, is that you now know how to plan accordingly. It's almost like when you have a recipe, when you pay attention to the ingredients in the recipe, and you'll know how to either add this or the amount that you need to put in, or if you need to withhold it until this stage of you creating that recipe, and then this gets inserted. So it's almost like it's not that, people that have different vibration frequencies, that you can't bring some type of harmony or there's some uniformity in it, because everybody, just as even what we're demonstrating here, we all have a different energy that we brought to this collective body, and everybody respects that concept. That I know I can be Brother Lamont L's, vibration or the energy that he's at based off of where he studies at. Or Brother Eric Leo, based on the energy of where he's at, where his studies at, but to respect that the structure or the energy that he brings, it harmonizes with what I can bring, and I think that's what we're really referring to when you're saying that, know your place and respect others, but do it to the tune of where you are actually being insincere with it. That means that we all have to admit that nobody knows everything, and just no different than what we've always talked about. Dr. G just as what you and Grant Sheik always stated redundantly, even in the global presentment of what people call their beliefs and their religions, not knowing that everybody has a slice of the whole. And the issue is that's what had caused the discord, was for those to be deceived to think that the little portion that they have is the entirety. And so rather than looking at no different than if you study the anatomy of your body, or a conveyance, a car, you can break down the logistics of a car and see what the brake pads function is in its entirety, but then it also contributes to something greater than that. The lug nuts, the wheels, the tires, the hub, the steering wheel has its own function in its own individual capacity, but it's also a contributing cause in something else. So when you look at that and study it as it pertains to the structure of nature, because that's how nature designed things, is that we have to have respect for everything in its entirety. Now, yes, you're going to have your moments where you may have to question or you want to challenge something, but don't challenge it as though you're dealing with out of your lower gates or your lower realm. Look at it with the sincerity, because I would run across brothers and sisters that where I come to the extent of what I know, but at least I can bring you to where I'm at. You can meet me here, and then we continue the journey on. And that's what we really need to start getting into the harmony of doing, because that's what's going to be one of the components to salvation, to our salvation, and for the rest of the nations of the earth to see that we're actually getting back into that divine energy of harmony. Once we do that, and once it's really recognized widely, then that's when you can start seeing, as it states in the Circle 7, that your brothers from the East will come to your aid. But then, even to that degree, we're not talking about a flat geographical map, because the planet itself is round. So when we're referring to the East their East is us. And so now you see the harmony of where we all need each other. So once we can do that and look at it from that aspect and take the big I's and the little U's out of it, and take the barriers of, well, I don't want to support this because, yes, there's proof that it works, but I got a whole different agenda. Get all of that out of the way.
Well, or learn how to choose who you associate with. Because remember, many are called, but few are chosen. You don't have to choose a group of Moorish Americans because they're Moorish Americans. Remember, it's about principle.
Yes.
If your principles are not in accordance with the ancient creed and principles of the foremothers and forefathers, and that means you are an undesirable.
Yes.
So you are not protected or even recognized within the family of nations. All right? Because it's all dealing with principles. So if the principles ain't right, don't associate with them. Real simple.
Yes.
It's not about, oh, we all need to come together. No, many are called, but few are chosen. And we choose. We choose, just like you choose. He chose. He chose. He chose. She chose. The brother here chose. All right. We have the right to choose. You know what I'm saying? And we also have the right to disassociate, just like we have a right to associate.
It's called free will. Free
will. And you need to learn how to exercise it and stop being scared to tell people no. I'm not scared to tell anyone no. So because if your principles aren't right, then we don't have nothing to talk about. Because I know what I went through, and everyone with me that are along this same energy, they went through stuff too, and they're tired of it. All right, we all tired of it. But if you are tired and you want to do something about it, change your principles and change your association, and understand that everyone's mission isn't your mission, but everyone is on a mission.
Yes.
You know them by their fruits. You know them by their fruit, their words, actions, and deeds. Anybody telling you that you're not the government, and the Republican government definition says exactly what it says, right? But they tell you don't have a government, you got to wait for a government. Well, by all means, you know their intent. If someone tells you that you are the government, because the government is the people, because it's to govern one's mental. Government is a compound word.
Right.
And they can take you to the word and put the finger on it, then you know their intent.
Well, listen, this has been very informative. You said that you had a special announcement. We're at 2 hours and
oh yes.
And you said you had a special announcement, so I'm gonna make sure you get that in before we close out.
Yeah. Well, first I want to give all honors to every single Moorish American that was contributing, whether it was in the physical flesh, or if they sent donations, or if they sent prayers, or even if it was just motivations of words of encouragement. Islam, we give you high honors. We appreciate your support. We thank you for your help. And the special announcement is that we recorded everything on video. We got everything. Yes, we put out the Zoom link in all of the different territories at the very last minute, so that we can hold court via Zoom. That's the record. And everybody on Zoom that caught the link logged in. I think it was up to 40 people, maybe 42 people, logged in from different territories, at different states, and they announced their free national name for the public record as witness to either they're witnessing consular jurisdiction being exercised, treaty enforcement, treaty obligations being enforced, and either treason. They was either going to witness treason, or they was going to witness their brother Javad Abdul Al being released. And of course, they witnessed both. Damn it, they witnessed treason and he got released. We got it all on film, and we will be releasing it on the platform called, you go to YouTube, Enforce the Constitution. We have a YouTube channel. It's called Enforce the Constitution. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, so that when you subscribe and we release the video sometime this week, because we're editing it right now, you will bear witness to consular jurisdiction and treaty obligations being enforced and exercised at the Maryland State Republic. That's the special announcement. And then also we are going to plan for a press conference coming real soon, in an event that the arrangement, because we're still doing investigation. Even though our Moorish Americans out, we're holding true to these words that we said on this paper. We're still investigating Charles County, period. All right, in accordance with these orders. So
that harmonizes with the preamble, where it says, and to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity. We're doing the work now so that our future generation, our young and up and coming heirs, and the legacies that we leave behind upon this planet don't have to go through this.
Right, exactly. And we are in an event that will within our investigation, we have fact findings. We have a lot of fact findings, but and a lot of them are already posted on the website that I just showed. However, in an event that settlement cannot be made, then we will be releasing a press conference. We will be calling a press conference and releasing more of the fact findings that we have before the world, and we will be seeking aid and assistance from all nations around the world via the embassy and consulates that are here on our soil. We will be seeking aid and assistance at that press conference. But until then, we're going to look to see if they're going to settle. Islam.
Thank you so much. Before we go, I just want to make one. I just want to give a shout out, and it's on your particular. It's not with regard to what you're talking about, but I have a new advertiser, and I just want to say thank you to Master Artisan Brother Jedias L in North Carolina territory, who was in this territory over the weekend and gifted me with this beautiful organite jewelry, organite earrings, organite. Maybe I'm talking really, really beautiful pieces. His information is at the bottom. He's a Moor. As a matter of fact, when I showed Grand Sheik his card, he said, "Oh yeah, I was there, and I stayed in his, with his family when he was in that area a few years ago." So shout out to Brother Jedias. He also purchased 6 books from me on Saturday. So just want to say thank you to the brother, and he has some beautiful organite. We need to be protected.
Right. And also we need to support one another as a nation. That's one of the protocols of nationhood, is that we support our own. That's that self-sufficient and the stability. This is some of the stuff that people don't really look at when they're actually now, especially in this energy cycle that they're talking about, remembering the Tulsa situation and all that. Well, underneath the fabric, because of course, the deceivers are going to try to project that energy of fear and inferiority in that. But let's look at the divine energy of that. We were self-sustaining. We had our own businesses. We had our own grocery stores. We had our own hospitals, our own hotels. And because we were operating in that capacity as our own network and community of people, it was actually making some type of friction with regards to the agenda or the platform that the colonists was trying to set up. So they had to remove that, because just think what kind of savagery was going on during that time in that area that they needed to bomb it, deputize so-called European colonists, give them arms, and start gunning people down in the street, even innocent young brothers and sisters, as they were traveling by foot to school. What was the threat of that, other than the fact that it's just revealing the truth of who we truly are? Mm-hmm. That's who we are in essence. We're peaceful and loving people, and we're intellectual people. So this is also the structure of how we must do this thing. Do this thing as a community of each other. Support one another.
Yes.
And with that, Drew Ali said in the Divine Warning by the Prophets for the Nation, the gold, silver, and commerce belong to the citizens alone. All right. So if you are a driver for your company or for someone else's company that is not registered under the United States Corporation Company via its subsidiaries, which are the state of, then you are not required to have a driver's license still. You still don't need a driver's license. All right? Because the commerce belongs to you. If you're driving for your company and your company is registered in your trust, then the driver license comes from either you, because you're the owner of the company, or it comes from, if I'm driving for Brother Adil's company, then it'll come from him. The permission to drive, to do commercial activity on behalf of his company as a representative of his company comes from him. It doesn't come from the state. All right? Just to clear that up, because we all say, oh, we're not driving, we're traveling. Absolutely right. But even if you are driving for your company, whether you're offering a service or you're transporting goods, property, etc., the driver's license doesn't come from the state. Period. Islam.
Well, I want to thank you all again. I want to thank everybody in the chat for being a part of this tonight's presentation. This information, I believe, it's to me, it should be encouragement for others who are facing similar situations. And I guess I wanted to ask you one other thing before we end it. This is a case of a traffic case. Does this victory apply to any other type case?
All cases. Because listen, it's not a case, it's the appearance of a right. Remember, if you read Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars,
yes,
Rothschild's energy discovery, what he discovered was when someone takes the appearance of power, people soon give it to them. It's the appearance of power. It's not power. It appears to be a case, but it's not a case. It appears to be a court, but it ain't a court. So they are acting. Yes, this applies all across the board. Doesn't matter if they called it a traffic case. No, the brother was kidnapped. He was kidnapped. So it's a kidnapping. That's why I also put those cases up there. Foreclosure cases, traffic cases, fraudulent lien cases, and even habeas corpus cases.
They all deal with your estate.
All of them. And it deals with you either clinging to principles that delude to slavery because they're saying that. That's all they're doing. They're saying that, oh, you under the black codes. You're an undesirable. Or you are clinging to the principles of the Constitution and treaty, which is the principles of your ancient foremothers and forefathers because they wrote it. And you're going to demonstrate that in an event that somebody tries to deprive you of your nationality, your citizenship, or your liberties, or your property, your estate. You're going to demonstrate those principles by words, actions, and deeds. What Jesus say? What say? Jesus said, when he was tempted by the tempter, how shall I prove my messiahship when I stand before the faces of men? And then the tempter came and he said, my words, actions, and deeds in all walks of life, not just in this traffic case, not just in this burglary case, not just in this foreclosure case, or if I'm trying to get out of a mortgage. No, in all walks of life shall be proof of my messiahship. All right. And I'm not saying that, my messiahship, I'm a prophet. No, the priesthood is dead. We all supposed to be prophets. If you prophesy that, okay, I'm going to get up and use the bathroom, and you get up and use the bathroom, guess what you just did? Look up the definition of prophecy.
Foretelling and foretelling.
Yeah, foretelling.
Thank you so much. Thank you, each and every one of you.
Thank you.
Presence, and thank you for all of the hard work that you are putting in, on behalf of uplifting fallen humanity.
We're doing this for motivation, inspiration, and most definitely agitation. Just like the brother Taj. Get agitated and do something about it. Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islam.
Got the G. Really? Oh shit. Yeah, that's me. Got the G. Really? Oh shit. Yeah, that's me. Got the G. Really? me. Dr. G. Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G. Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G.